To no one's surprise, Platina is going to be our Christmas character. She's finally out, along with Chapter 31. Both of these have been delayed for so long, man. And this is a very anticipated character, not only just for the entire community, but also myself, because she's one of the best breakers to ever do it, and she opens up a lot of different team comps and just strategies that you can do, because she is very good at what she does. But let's talk about Platina and then the banner as a whole, because there's a lot I need to say here. So Platina herself, as mentioned before, is just a breaker. She has really good slots for just being this breaker with the physical, the support, and the defense. Just off of equips alone, you can of course use her true weapon. Her true weapon is able to increase her own attack and arc gauge, but it also has 6,000 break. Of course, if you wanted to, since this doesn't really buff up your break power anyway, you could get away with using just a physical item that is giving you that, like Duke the Legendary, Bagusan, whatever it is that you may want. I also think just using regular Awoken Platina's 5-star physical here is really good too. For the 5-star support, you can always go with stuff that's actually giving you tons of break power up. We have a lot of stuff in the game now that just gives you break power up as a 5-star support, and we even have 5-star supports that are break items like Lisa's Needle. This is an item that hasn't really seen too much use, but it has a pretty high amount of break on it, and if you have it just sitting around, I could see you actually getting away with using this. Of course, you can always just go with more support items on her that actually give your team arc gauge and stuff like that, and that'll be more than enough. Really, I think the worst slot for this Platina is the 4-star defense. The 4-star defense is nice, you know, for just team play in general, but breaking wise, the 4-star defense is kind of lackluster. Of course, you can get a 4-star physical if you take her up to LB7, but that's completely on you if you want to do that or not. Next, we have her entire kit. The skill gives you art, but if the boss is broken, you get 200 arc gauge instead. The art buffs up attack and physical equip CT speeds for your entire team. The true art reduces break res and physical res, and this is a stackable debuff on the target. The super art is able to deal a massive amount of break at 15,000. You buff up everybody's crit rate and damage against enemies in break by 200%. Of course, if all this wasn't enough, she has a few passives that are absolutely noteworthy. One is while she's above 80% HP, you have flinch res, so 100% freeze, 100% paralysis. She also has intimidation, so you load into a quest, the giant boss instantly has half of their break bar. And the last one, which if I'm not mistaken, Platina is the first to have this on global. She has the ratio passive, but hers is all about break power than damage. The more attack she has, the more break power she has. So you can imagine a character like this using a bunch of different equips, a bunch of different other units. You're going to be able to get an insane amount of break power passively on this Platina. If we just think about team comps real quick, I mean, she's a light character. You can always throw her on the team with Kenshin. Kenshin and her are going to be great because Kenshin's going to be able to stack that attack. You can also throw on Saitama in that team. Saitama gives everybody the DR, and really you only need one more character, which can either be Young Emperor or BF Emperor. And then there you go. You have tons of Archgen, a breaker, and you should be able to do everything you want to do with Platina very easily. Outside of just that mono light setup, you can of course use her with any other attack buff character or just Archgeners. The main thing you really want to do here with this Platina, being able to inflict as many break res downs as possible onto a singular boss. If you're able to get 5 true arts off and then go into a super art, that means that the boss has a 200% break res down, plus you're hitting him with a super art that has 15,000 break, and it's getting buffed because of Platina's passive. Jesus Christ, the boss is going to instantly become broken. So whenever you think about it like that, Ultimate Paladin Roy is great since he gives everybody that 200 arc gauge because of his Phantom Bullet, plus he can give arc gauge over time. Hoka, always a great character. If you want to throw on Firin on a team with her, you absolutely can. She's going to give tons of arc gauge too, and you get the point. Just put her alongside Archgeners and someone that can take some damage and let her work on the break bar. You'll be able to clear any piece of content where you need to break. That right there though might be the biggest weakness for Platina, because you don't always need a breaker. In more recent times, we've needed breakers, right? A lot of new content comes out and it's like no matter what, you have to break the enemy at least once. So in those situations, Platina will still be somewhat useful because even whenever the boss no longer needs to be broken, she's still giving you crit rate, she's giving you physical res down along with attack and physical equip CT speeds. But I would have loved for this Platina as well to have some kind of arc gauge, especially on the true art, at least like I would even say 20. So it could be kind of similar similar to that of Shadow's true art, just so this unit can have a bit more viability when breaking is no longer required. And since we're on the topic of breaking, we also have to consider the fact the amount of breakers we have now in Global, especially ascended breakers. You know, we think of characters that can buff up break power like Chloe. We think of actual breakers like Arthur, Accelerator for an example, right? Chobei, if you still use him. I hope to God no one uses him. So there is a chance that you already have somebody that's going to be doing this Platina's job. Like the exact thing you want this Platina to do, you might have someone already that's able to fulfill that role. But here's the kicker. On JP, I do know this Platina is very sought after and used a lot in leaderboard runs. I don't know if there's a reason for that, apart from just she's completely busted, or if her animations are a bit faster than other breakers. You know, I'm not for sure on the specifics there. But if you are someone who cares about leaderboard runs, this Platina may be a bit more appealing to you, because I don't know if you're going to get unit diff just because of that. So maybe if you're more of a speedrunner or something, you can leave a bit more insight down below if you think this Platina is still worth, or if Accelerator or one of the other breakers we've gotten is still able to compete. But if it is the case where she is like the go-to for speedrunners, and you are someone who's kind of more in that niche community, you definitely are going to be putting a bit more of a priority on her. As for everyone else, I can confidently say that if you already have a breaker and they're breaking pretty good still, like for example, Arthur or Accelerator, or if you have someone that's able to buff up other breakers like Chloe for an example, and you think you're doing okay in the break department, then you may not need someone like Sanctus Platina. However, if you feel like you're struggling in the break department, I don't think there's a better character on Global at the moment than Sanctus Platina if we're talking strictly about breaking. So it's not a one-size-fits-all answer, unfortunately. You're gonna have to decide for yourself if you need the breaker or not, but if you do, even if you think you need it a slight bit, I think it's absolutely worth it to go for this Platina. The problem is though, if you go for this Platina, the rest of the banner really isn't all that. Like we have Irie here. I think that's her name. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's her name. There's no way I forgot about her name. Irie was a very broken awoken character whenever she first came out, dealt tons of damage, was one of like the first kind of huge nukes we saw because she was so loaded. But nowadays she's pretty lackluster, and I don't think we're getting a Dream Awakening or anything else with this banner to make her a bit stronger. We have another acidic character on the banner, which is Marlet. If you're a collector, this might be good since Marlet's only been out I think on one banner, which was what, the second Blue Jacket banner. So if you haven't got her yet, you can try to pick her up now alongside Platina, but she's definitely not anything to like write home about. She's okay in most situations. Lysistina is very, very good. Still a fantastic healer if you need that, but more than likely some of you guys have maybe selected her from the Forever Summon, or you just randomly picked her up on a banner that she was on previously. She's been out for a very long time, so a lot of you guys that have been playing the game for a while probably have her somewhere. And then last one is Tamame, which Tamame is dog water now. She used to have a lot of compositions with mono dark nuking and stuff like that, but now she's not used at all. So really the only characters on this banner that have value are Sanctus Platina and I would say Lysistina. And a lot of you guys more than likely have Lysistina, so it's really only a Sanctus Platina banner. So overall value is kind of a little bit low for this banner. If you're brand new and you're missing everybody, hey, you know, go crazy. I also want to mention too that since this doesn't talk about the All-Star banner, there's no mention of the All-Star banner anywhere in here. We need to consider that within the next like week or so, we'll probably be getting another banner, and it's gonna be our All-Star banner and our New Year's update and all that type of stuff. We have no idea what unit they're gonna select for that. I have no idea what it could be, because if I go onto the database right now and we look at all of the unreleased characters, the only person that I could think about them releasing for All-Stars at the current moment would have to be Maset, maybe Natasha, but you need these characters to have their events alongside them, so maybe they still do, but that's kind of it. If it's not those two, then maybe Charlotte with her event. I don't think we'll be seeing Yuna since Yuna's tied to Grand Crusade, but you guys let me know. Maybe there's another character you think that will actually show up here. I don't think it's going to be Orvel D, by the way. Orvel D is more than likely actually going to be our anniversary character this year, since he is tied to the story chapter, and I think that he is chapter 32's unit. I'm pretty sure. So if you want to be a bit careful and not go too crazy yet on this banner, I would say wait a little bit, see who comes out with All-Stars, just in case if you want to pity on the All-Star banner for whoever the new unit is, and then you can come back to this one. But that's pretty much as far in the future that we can kind of predict at the moment. We have no idea if there's going to be another crossover after Kill la Kill, since JP still hasn't said anything, and they're kind of still in the middle of their anniversary. So it's possible that we do get some kind of rerun in the new year. but we have to wait for that. It might be Tensura, you know, why not? It's gonna be Tensura for the, like, what, 5th time in a row, boys? You guys let me know down below if you're gonna be summoning for the new Blondie or not. If you enjoyed this video, highly recommend you check out this video popping up on your screen right now. It's my GS tier list. If you guys haven't seen this shit, I went super in depth with it, and since we're probably gonna be having All-Stars coming up soon, any of the units you get from that, you can cross-reference it with this video and see what my opinion was on the unit, so you can get kind of an idea of how strong or how weak they may be before you go and playtest them. I have it all time-stamped and all that type of stuff in that video, so you don't have to worry. It's a very long video, so if you want to watch it all, go on ahead. But if you don't, all the timestamps are right there. I'll meet you over there, but before you leave, don't forget to drink water.